Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order at 4:05 p.m. I'd like to humbly acknowledge the land we live, learn, work, and play is Treaty 8 territory, traditional lands of Cree and Dene, and unceded territory of the Métis people. For the record, we have Councillor Cardinal, Councillor Dogar, as well as Councillor McGrath online. And councillors, if you have your camera turned on for voting purposes, please. If anyone in attendance wishes to address council on any of the agenda items, please see legislative service to my right, and please register before the start of that agenda item. And moving on to the consent agenda, does anyone wish to remove any items off the consent agenda? Not seeing anyone. Can I have someone make that motion? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the recommendations contained in items 2.1 and 2.2 be approved.
Thanks for the motion, Councillor Weigel, and thanks for the second, Councillor Walkwin. I'll call for a vote. In favor online? Thank Councillor Cardinal, Councillor McGrath, and Councillor Dogar in favor. Thank you. And that's carried unanimously. Thanks, everyone. Moving on, we have the report on the Former Heritage Society update. I'd like to invite Community Services to introduce yourself and bring forward the report, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Tony Elliott, Acting Director for Community Services, and with me is Janelle Fleury, Manager of Community Partnerships and Initiatives. We are presenting an update on the Fort McMurray Heritage Society, including recommendations for moving forward. The current service agreement and the secondment of one staff member ends on September 30th, 2025. The organization is ineligible for the Community Investment Program based on several sections of the CIP policy FIN 220, which refer to the overdue or incomplete accounting and reporting, adherence to policy, strategic priorities and outcomes, and over-reliance on the grant program. This results in the cancellation of the remaining 2024 grant and ineligibility for future grants. Administration is also aware that there is an ongoing RCMP investigation. These compounding factors have resulted in the Society having a very difficult decision to make about the future of their heritage sites. The municipality recognizes and values the Society's long-standing contributions and the dedication of its staff and board of directors. Our shared priority remains the long-term protection of the Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard in alignment with the RMWB's Heritage Resource Master Plan.
Our administrative recommendations reflect the commitment to heritage management and result from many conversations with the Board of Directors. We are asking that Council consider the following to ensure the Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard remain protected for future generations to engage with the community's history. That administration takes steps to preserve the artifacts and assets at the Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard when given care and control by the Fort McMurray Heritage Society. That $175,062 be decommitted from the 2024 CIP allocation to Fort McMurray Heritage Society and diverted to Community Services operating budget for the preservation of Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard assets from October 1 to December 31st, 2025. That administration consider the fee structure for the Fort McMurray Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard while under care and control of the RMWB, and that administration explore opportunities for a new operating model, including partnerships with community and the Government of Alberta, including consideration for a Regional Heritage Council, and report back to Council by April 2026 with an update. We want to take this time to thank the staff of the Heritage Society for their hard work and dedication to the region's history and to the board, as well as Tara Bernice for her leadership over the Society for the last 6 months. Lastly, we want to thank our colleagues internally from Departments such as corporate services, project delivery, facility services, legal services, planning and development, communications, as it has been a shared effort to bring forward this solution. And this concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to questions from council. I just have a quick question to start off. Was there ever any issue with Heritage Park Society receiving funding prior to 2022 or with their audited financials?
Through the chair, no, there had not been any issues before. There was a period of time, I want to think around 2017, when they didn't receive a CIP grant, but that was actually because they were in such a favorable financial position, they didn't qualify in that way.
Perfect. Yeah, and I also want to echo what Janelle mentioned and thank the board for everything they've done over the years in maintaining this park for the community, as well as our staff that have stepped in. Does council have any other questions? Councilor Dogar? Councilor Dogar, you're on mute.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Sorry to the residents. I am right in my room. I have a leg problem, so that's why I couldn't come. I apologize for that. Now, my question is about the heritage. I visited today as per my own schedule. Whenever anything is discussed, I can go and try to visit it. So I want to ask, is the present status will continue or then changing something or improvement? Thank you.
Could you repeat the question, Councilor Dogar?
My question is the present status that municipality employee is looking after. I went there, I met the girl, and she seems to be very smart and, appropriate. But would this be continued forever, or the previous system will be restored?
Through the chair to Councilor Dogar, that is one of the recommendations, is that we would seek a new operating model. And what that would look like, we would be consulting with community and engaging with community to decide what that looks like.
Thank you.
Councilor Cardinal?
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Tony and Janelle, for your presentation. In 2022, how many staff members were hired on that day, new staff, and what positions?
Through the chair, are you referring to who was hired at the Heritage, with the Heritage Society in that year?
Not who. We don't want to start naming names here because then I won't stop. So let's just stick to the question, which is what positions were hired through the Heritage Society in 2022 before the audit financials went sideways, I guess.
Through the chair to the question, there was an increase in the staff at that time. In 2022, a new executive director had taken over. Previously, they had between 3 to 4 staff at the society. In 2022 to 2023, I believe that the staffing complement was as high as 12 individuals.
Okay, so let's say 2021 to 2022, how many staff worked at the Fort McMurray Heritage Society?
Through the chair to the question, the total number of full-time employees was between 3 to 4. I can't say how much turnover there were in those positions at that time, but that was the total number of positions that existed.
Okay, so let's move on to 2022 to 2024. How many staff did we have then?
Through the chair to the question, it went up as high as 12 staffing positions and started to decline through 2025.
Okay, no more questions on that. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilor Cardinal. Does council have any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Just, I'll get to you next, Councillor Dogar. Councillor Benjoko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So thank you to the board members who are present here and all the staff who worked diligently, and also the RMWB staff that was seconded. So at the moment, your recommendation is that we should give some funding to the end or to be decommitted. And then, so we just take all the materials for preservation and, but one of the questions on my mind is, so once we pull out, there can't be Heritage Society operating for now, except we bring it in.
Through the chair, that's correct. We will hold the assets in trust as they wrap up their society.
And well, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Benjoko. Councillor Dogar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today, once I visited and talked to the manager of municipality there, she was very decent and politely replied to some of my questions. But few questions regarding the operation, she wanted to keep it concealed, that only you will come to know on the council. Our board members will tell you. So I got a little curious that is there something confidential going on there, or something, I am a councillor, I'm the same organization. I should know what is happening, and she was reluctant to tell. So is it the instructions of the board of governors, directors?
Through the chair to the question, I believe that the employee that's been seconded is in a difficult position right now to speak on behalf of this matter because they represent both the RMWB and the society. So her suggestion may have just been to defer those questions to the board or to this council meeting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate her decent attitude.
Councillor Boussier.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bowman. Just a question. I know it earlier on or late last year we had put a public member, Mr. Ferreira, and we appointed Councillor Wago on the board. And I noticed there's some board members. Is someone going to be giving an update on where we are with the investigation?
I'm not sure. Do we know where, does council or the board know where the investigation is right now?
Like, I guess through the chair to anyone, like, do we know numbers? Like, have we completed 2023, 2024? Do we look into 2025 year to date?
Through the chair, we are only aware of the confirmed 2023 number. The 2024 number is just being speculated upon right now, and it's just under $400,000 from 2023.
Does any of the board members or Councillor Wago have an update? I mean, we might not have it, but maybe they do.
I don't think so. If it's public, you don't.
That's, I guess, where I was going. The reason I asked, Mayor, is there's all kinds of numbers out on Franklin Avenue and around town speculating about
Yeah, and I
how
think,
much money's missing. And
yeah, I think the numbers, as Tony mentioned, I think they're about the same for 2023 and 2024. They're both about $400,000, if not climbing a little north of that,
so
which would mean over
safe to say it's north of
$800,000 in
800.
2 years.
unaccounted for, missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll follow up with Councillor Boussier's question. When was the investigation started? Do we have that information?
Through the chair to the chair. The board had indicated that the investigation or the RCMP were notified in November of 2024. And so we believe the investigation ensued at that time. It's still ongoing. The board may wish to speak to any updates that they've received.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Cardinal?
Thanks, Mayor. If Fort McMurray Heritage Society is dissolved and we go to a new board, who would own the assets?
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal, upon dissolution of the board, the assets will become the property of the RMWB.
Okay, so it's not. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor Dogar?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Surely I have one question, but why are we thinking of dissolving? This is one of the good organizations, recreation and meeting greeting. So we should not go for that option. My question to the presenter is that there is some funds we care. Is it from the same had given something to Heritage also?
Do you want to repeat your question, Councillor Dogar?
My question again is, there is one head we care, and accordingly some funds are dished out to these certain non-profits.
Councillor Dogar, we're not
So,
discussing CIP funding right now. We're discussing Heritage Society.
So for the Heritage, I'm saying that is my question is, are we giving some funds to Heritage out of that head?
Through the chair to the question, currently, due to the reasons cited in the council report, the Heritage Society is not eligible for CIP. So this is a way for us as a community to ensure the preservation of the assets.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Dogar. Do you have any other questions from council? Councillor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. We've asked this question before, but I'm very interested in knowing when do we know that the investigation will conclude? It's almost a year. It's been 10 months. Is there any timeline, or we just wait? Because I think there are some changes happening in the organization, and I don't know how this works. Well, maybe might be question for CEO. Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Benjoko, that's an RCMP process, and so unfortunately we have no idea how long it will take. We are at that process.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Benjoko. Councillor Cardinal, do you have another question?
No, sorry about that.
Does any other councillor have any other questions? I'm not seeing any, so thank you both very much. Councillor Weigel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to ask a question upon administration, and sorry, I was confirming something. I believe that as a general public, we're looking for answers in the investigation, and I do think it's important. I just want to talk about the legality around it so I understand it, and maybe the public does as well. Because the Heritage Society is its own entity in and in itself, the fact that there's an investigation only limits us as administration to either fund or not fund them as an entity. The investigation in itself, although we do want answers, and whether we believe it or not, I do believe that we should. But as a legal entity, that is an investigation underneath the Heritage Society and not the RMWB. And so I am asking, just for full understanding for maybe our legal or how it stands, the general public, because this sits with the Heritage Society, it could be up to them whether they release that information, because although in this motion, we're taking over the assets, we're not taking over the entity. And so the investigation itself sits with the Heritage Society. So if the Heritage Society in itself chooses not to release that number to the RMWB for public, we may never know that number and the legality behind what happens further. And I ask that because as somebody on council, that's the number one question I get out there versus the money and the assets, which the assets of what I believe to be the most important thing here. It is the number one. And I want to, for the public to understand, because we may never have that answer to be able to give to the public as a sitting councilor or mayor.
Patrick?
Through the chair to the question, that is correct. The Heritage Society is an independent entity all of its own. They have engaged the RCMP to investigate something within themselves. We are not entitled to that information. The dollar figures we have only because they've submitted their financial statements for grants, but exactly the results of the investigation, we are not entitled. If they wish to share it, then is up to them.
Thank you. I just wanted clarity.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel. Councillor Bussier?
Yeah, thank you. Just further up to Councillor Stew's question, would Heritage Park be obligated to publish their audited financial statements every year? That's to anyone who can answer.
Through the chair to the question, if they're no longer applying for grants, they're no longer required to submit financial statements. So if they wish to have funding from us, they have to submit it, but if they're not asking for funding, they do not.
Okay, through the chair to Patrick. So if we take over the park, would we have a copy, would the RM have copies of the audited 23-24 statements? Would we own those then?
Through the chair to the question, that would be considered an asset. And so once the assets are fully in our hands, upon dissolution, we would have that information. And we would use that to determine things like inventory and what needed to be done, that sort of thing. But that may be, dissolution does not happen in a day. It may take a few months.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bussier. Councillor, have any other questions? Can I have someone make a motion? Councillor Weigel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that administration take steps to preserve the artifacts and assets at Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard when given care and control by the Fort McMurray Heritage Society. That on $175,062 be decommitted from the 2024 Community Investment Program allocation to Fort McMurray Heritage Society and diverted to Community Services operating budget for the preservation of Heritage Village and the Heritage Shipyard assets from October 1st to October 31st, 2025. That administration consider the fee structure for the Fort McMurray Heritage Village and Heritage Shipyard while under care and control of the RMWB, and that administration explore opportunities for a new operating model, including partnerships with community and the government of Alberta, including consideration for the Regional Heritage Council, and report back to Council by April 2026 with an update.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel, and thanks for the second, Councillor Bussier. Now, Council open for discussion, debate, and comments. I just want to start off by saying huge thank you to the Heritage Society for all the work they've done the last few months. I've gone over and beyond, as well as our staff that have been over there. And if the Heritage Society come forward with this solution for the Heritage Park to save the assets for the community, very much appreciated. And I will be supporting the motion. And I wish we weren't in this position, but happy to help the society move this forward to preserve the assets that are in Heritage Park and the shipyard. Councillor Weigel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to echo what Mayor Bowman said, but also I think it's been an absolute honor to be able to work alongside the Heritage Society Board well being there and listening to everybody, the passion that everybody has on that board for the history and preservation of the assets in this town is unbelievable. To the point of when we're talking about the history and it being preserved, people are coming to tears because they care so much that the public are able to know and see what is going on in there. And so I just want to say thank you, and it was a huge honor for that. And so my hope is in the future and the continued future that the public has access to all of that history, and that we find a way to get that in front of as many people as possible so the history is never forgotten in this town. Thank you so much for all of your guys' hard work and dedication to this.
Thank you, Councillor Weigel. Councillor Dogar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also fully endorse what my colleague, Councillor Stu Bagel, said it. Very fine words and very important aspects he highlighted of the history importance. And I appreciate the efforts of the board directors for their community work. Thank you. Bye.
Councillor Cardinal.
I guess I got a question in a debate, or I know, yeah, debate, I guess, or comments. Got a question. So, funds remaining in, can I ask? I guess I can. Yeah, funds remaining in the Heritage Society's account now. Is that going to be signed over, and you know, all finances signed over to the RM?
Through the chair to the question, the municipality will take over all of the assets in trust. We will simply hold on to them. If there are any money in the funds, it will be used to maintain the buildings, to begin the cataloging, and essentially run everything that the Heritage is right now. We would be stewards of the society until such time as it dissolves, and then we will continue to take care of it, but we will then own the items.
Because at this point, we don't know whether any board members are involved as well, right? So that's why I'm kind of ways restrictive on some of the questioning that I got, and I kind of just wanted to acknowledge some of that. You know, it was you know, the board's obligation to make sure that you know, that everything was kept in place there and operations were kosher. But I know that the presentation earlier from our staff and our administration, Tony and Janelle, they'd said thank you to the staff that was there. I'd say no thank you to the person that went and crumbled this whole organization. And, you know, I really think that sometimes people like this need to really sit and think about the things that they're doing to Fort McMurray or this whole region. And it's uncalled for. And I really hope that, you know, the RCMP in this investigation finds exactly who was involved with some of this stuff, because as a sitting councillor and to the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, I think it won't ever happen under on my watch. If I was to ever to be a part and find out exactly what had went on, I wanted to make a friendly amendment at one point there when Stu was talking, because I wanted to make sure that all the assets are and finances are given back, are signed over to the RMWB. I know that, you know, there might be some or maybe all of the board that had absolutely nothing to do with it, but at some point we really got to protect the community's community assets and community initiatives that we got going on with our organizations. And when I keep on saying that, time and time again, we got to tighten up the ship. Well, this is tightening up the ship again, and you know, it's unfortunate, and we got to pull the reins in and tighten them up. So I don't know whether or not that can be a part of it, but maybe the board can. I'm just wondering if any grants or anything more can be applied for at the stage we're in. That's all. Maybe the administration can answer that. Sorry.
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal, as the board winds down its operations and gets ready to wrap up, I would think that they wouldn't be in a position to apply for new grants. And that as they fold up their finances, as Patrick mentioned, that they would become assets of any additional or excess funds would become an asset of the RMWB when they are complete.
I don't have no more comments at this time. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilor Cardinal. Councilor Dogar?
Sorry.
Thank you. Does Councilor have any other, Councilor Banjoko?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. Thank you again for everyone that worked on this. This is an unfortunate situation, and whether the public has all the figures or not, it's not a good thing that happened. And since we are all equal before the law of Canada, and I hope that whoever was involved is brought to answer for the wrongdoings, even if it takes years. This is not good. We are not excited to take back Heritage Society and to be running it. This wasn't the plan a year ago, and the gross disrespect for the process is really very. I'm not a very happy person this moment, knowing the little that I know, because if the process wasn't followed, and for reasons that are known to the people that know what happened. So no matter how long, I hope we get to know, to bring those people to answer for the wrongdoing, because that's the right thing that should happen. And whether I'm still on this seat or not, I will be hoping and be eager to know. Thank you to the board members and to our regular friend Mike Ferreira for taking this up. And thank you to the board chair and board members, and to Councillor Weigel. This is certainly not what we want to do, but hopefully justice will still be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Banjoko. Does any other councillor have any comments, questions, or debate points? Councilor Cardinal?
I guess, Mayor, how much time in between? So I guess the staff that we have there right now. So obviously the facility is operational at this point, right?
Anyway, Tony?
Through the chair, the Heritage Shipyard has been closed. Usually it's a seasonal operation, and there are some events I think coming up that are already pre-planned for the village, but it'll be, and the cookie shop is still open.
Okay, does that 163,000 cover the next year end?
Through the chair, yes, the diversion of that grant into operations will cover the operations for the last quarter.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Cardinal. Does any councilor have any other debate points, questions, or comments? I'm not seeing any. So again, I just wrap up before I call for votes. I want to again thank the board for all the work they've done, including our member of the public as well as councilor that's been on there for a while. We're in the hard position right here and under a duress situation. I hope some of you will be available as advisors as we move forward, because I know when we start going through everything at the Heritage Park, we're going to need people to tell us what everything is. And so I imagine some people on that board, we'd love to have your help. So with that, I'll call for a vote. In favor online? Councillor Cardinal in favor, thank you. Councillor McGrath in favor, thank you, sir. Councillor Dogar, we lost you there.
Move on.
Councillor Dogar? Councillor Dogar, are you with us in the meeting? I'll ask again. Councillor Dogar, are you with us? So can we assume Councillor Dogar has exited the meeting? Okay, so Councillor Dogar has exited the meeting at 4:40 p.m. And that's carried unanimously, 7 in favor. Thank you, everyone. And that concludes today's business. We'll adjourn today's meeting, and this, I would think, is the last meeting of this council. I think so. We still have probably 36 hours left. We could have another meeting, but I think this might be it. I just want a quick thank you to my colleagues around the table here. It's been a complete honor the last 4 years. Thank you for everything you do for the community, and we'll see you after Monday. Or I guess after October. I will see you after Monday. Okay, the meeting's adjourned, everyone. Marcy Cho, Kim Compton, thank you.